back and we are ready for our next session. We are taking a deeper look into the projections of the RCN crop 2024. This is a review and outlook session for what's in store for the year ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, giving you a bit of overview about all our participants and panelists. This particular session is being chaired by Mr. Wu Tai Son, the chairman of Long Son Joint Stock Company. Please give a round of applause as I invite Mr. Wu Tai Son onto the stage. Let's make it louder because they will hear you clap and they will walk in. That is exactly what they've been waiting for. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Wu Tai Son is a Vietnamese nationality, and he's a graduate from the College of Foreign Affairs in Vietnam. He is a CEO and owner of the Long Son Joint Stock Company Vietnam, the largest cashew processor in the world. He is also the chairman of Bin Phuoc Cashew Association. But what makes his achievements even more stellar is the fact that he belongs to the first generation of the cashew people in Vietnam. And to be making such great strides in itself is so exemplary. Sir, my salutations to you for this achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, our first speaker panelist for this session will be Honorable Dr. Ojo Joseph Ajanaku, the National Cashew Association of Nigeria, NCAN. Do we have Dr. Ojo in the house? So he will join us as and when he walks in. Dr. Ojo Joseph Ajanaku is the esteemed president of NCAN and is a distinguished leader in the agriculture sector with a background in banking and finance. His visionary leadership has propelled the cashew industry much forward in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker presenter this afternoon is Mr. Soy Kokthean, the Vice President of Cashew Association of Cambodia, CAC. Working as the Vice President of CAC with over 15 years experience in the cashew sector, he has masterfully navigated roles as a producer, collector, processor, and exporter. He also has a very important role as investment coordinator for those who want to invest in Cambodia's cashewnut sector, and also CEO and co-founder of CSNC Agriculture Limited. Our next speaker being invited on stage now is Mr. Alex Ngetia Assouman, the President of Association of Cashew Exporters, Ivory Coast. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. Alex Assouman. Our next speaker this afternoon shall be Mr. Suraj Rao from EETG, who has already been introduced to you earlier. Mr. Rao brings with him 20 years of global extensive experience in supply chain management and risk mitigation and agriculture commodity training. Presently, he spearheads the cocoa division at ETG while also contributing significantly to cashew and other sectors within the group. Our final speaker for this afternoon will be Mr. SANFO Ibrahim, the President of CIAB, Burkina. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. SANFO Ibrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, as I leave this session in the very able hands of our chairperson, let me once again remind you that simultaneous translations in English and French are available. I hope you're using your headsets. We shall be breaking for lunch right after this session. Whenever you step out, I urge you to please repossess your headsets back to the table where you picked them up from. Gentlemen, this is your clicker for your presentations. You have your buttons for way up and way down. It's very simple. And with this, have a great one, everyone. Over to Mr. Wu Tai Son. If we have Dr. Ojo Ajanaku in the house already, requesting him to join on the stage, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let us begin the second session, which is about the raw cashew nut. So, we have the speaker come from the growing countries. So, we'll speak about the production, the crop, the future, and then I myself will represent Vietnam as a buying country to express our view on the raw cashew nut. So let's begin with the host, Mr. So first speaker will be Mr. Suraj Kokthean, the Cashewnut Association of Cambodia. Welcome, Mr. Kokthean.
Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Suraj Kokthean, Vice President of the Cashewnut Association of Cambodia. Today, I would like to introduce you a bit about Cashewnut Association of Cambodia. So Cashewnut Association of Cambodia, what we call CAC, was established in 2009. Our vision is to become a domestic and global leader in facilitating the production and marketing of Cambodia cashew. Our mission is to contribute to the alleviation of poverty in accordance with the government policy and strengthen the image of the cashew industry, both national and international awareness. We have our goal. Our goal number one is to provide technical support to our cashewnut farmer, agriculture cooperative all over in Cambodia. So we're working very closely with the farmer and also the agriculture cooperative. Our second goal is to establish the community warehouse all over cashewnut potential province in Cambodia, because we know that cashewnut community warehouse plays a very important role in pushing Cambodia into the processing country, and the other thing is to improve the standard of living, value add for the Cambodia cashewnut farmer. Third goal, establish CAC, the first processing factory, to use for processor training, because we want to train farmer, agricultural cooperative to be a processor as well. And four is the largest goal for Cambodia Cashewnut Association, is to transform one of the province which is a potential for producing Kampong Thom to become a Cambodia's largest cashew industry zone. So we can transform Kampong Thom into the agriculture zone, special economic zone, and focus on cashewnut. CAC member, CAC have direct member, and we're working with 7,500 family and cover 115,000 hectares in August 2022. And we got indirect farmer, and we're working with 40 agriculture cooperative, and 12,300 family cover 200,000 hectares. Out of that, we got the private sector, private company. It cover 100,000 hectares. So the total of our member is 19,800 family, cover 450,000 hectares all over in Cambodia. Would like to introduce you a bit about our data. In 2021, cashew cultivation are 800,000 hectares. 2022 cashew cultivation, it turned down to 700 hectares because we found out it's about 100 hectares been chopped down because of the climate problem. In 2023, we expect to increase about 40,000 hectares because what we found out, the cashew seedling around Cambodia has been sold to the farmer to grow. The yearly production is around 700,000 to 1 million tons. In the right-hand side, you can see that it's a production outlook, Cambodia cashew outlook. You can see the price, the amount that we collected in 2009 until 2023, and the bottom one is a price per ton. So the price per ton, this one is for the dry cashew nut. So we can see Cambodia cashewnut price is a bit expensive compared to the rest of the other country in the world as well. Cambodia is the second producer in the world, but we can produce a lot of cashewnut, but in the same time we got a lot of challenge. At the moment, we got one of the big problems is climate change. Our farmer facing a lot of problem with the climate change, and association is working with the stakeholder to find out the new variety that can resist it to the climate change, that we can introduce some more to the farmer to plant in Cambodia. Second challenge is post-harvest, technical and management. So we face in Cambodia, as you know, we produce 700,000 to 1 million ton. 90% we've been export out of the Cambodia. Infrastructure, we need drying field, community warehouse in order to store, dry and store in Cambodia. And number 4, our challenge is processing. We have less processing. As you know, 10% of the total production has been processed in Cambodia. Wherever that got the problem is always opportunity. Cambodia cashewnut has got market opportunity for the processor and trader. So cashewnut, Cambodia, we got a lot of free trade agreement in the region and the international. So the open market is for the rich country, is also the developing country for Cambodia cashewnut. This is opportunity for investor to invest in Cambodia in processing. Because the cashewnut export out of the country, another opportunity for the trader who want to set up a warehouse and buy and stock in Cambodia and start to do the farming contract with the farmer, also the contract with the processor in Cambodia, so you can supply to all of those processors in Cambodia to make money too. This is one of the big opportunity as well for Cambodia cashewnut. The third opportunity, Cambodia is the second largest producer in the world. At the moment, the buyer countries like European Union, traceability is one of the key point for the exporter to Europe. So Cambodia is a second biggest producer. If you process in Cambodia, all the cashewnut is from Cambodia farmer, from Cambodia AC. So you can trace from the farm to the end user. It's very clearly. And the other thing is Cambodia cashewnut is special. Our nut is big compared to the rest of the world. The taste is very good. What we can get from the laboratory, from Singapore, Korea, and Japan to prove that our cashewnut is beneficial to the health. Number 4, government of Cambodia provide incredible incentive for investor. Those of you who join the panelists for the opening day, you can see the Council Development of Cambodia. He stated very clearly about the incentive. And then when you come to Cambodia, you register as a processor, as a trader in Cambodia, you can get all of those incentives, import, export, free tax. And also, if you apply for the QIP, you will get 9-year profit tax free. So all of this is advantage and opportunity for the investor who want to invest in Cambodia. And the other one thing is Cashewnut Association of Cambodia is really cooperate with all of those investors who want to invest in Cambodia as well. Thank you. This is a short presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Hello. Thank you very much for the presentation of Mr. Sri Kokthean. The next speaker will be Mr. Suraj Rao from ETG. Mr. Suraj Rao.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have been given the task of giving an outlook on the Ghana, Benin and Togo crop. The approach that we generally adopt for estimating the crop is statistical. We are not doing any biological studies, or we are not estimating the botanical crop. What we generally do is to see the commodity flow and then arrive at our estimate of what the production could be. So as we can see over here that the exports out of Ghana are secularly increasing, and Ghana has accounted for a significant commodity flow that has flown from West Africa to various destinations. However, in Ghana, as we all know, there is a certain percentage of cross-border that comes in from Ivory Coast and Burkina, which sort of tends to inflate the export figures. So if we account for the domestic processing in Ghana, which is quite insignificant, and the estimate of cross-border flows, our estimate of Ghanaian production is around 225,000 tons. And in West Africa, it is one region which is having a significant increase in production over the past years. It is showing around a 10 to 15% increase in crop flow. Benin has been pegged based on the commodity flow at around 227,000 tons. Recently, the government in Benin has had some adjustments or some policy announcement that is going to restrict this flow into exports, and we'll discuss about that later. Togo has seen a bump up in exports purely due to the cross-border flow from Benin, but on a historical basis, our estimate of the Togo production is around 40,000 tons. In all these countries together, we feel that Ghana is one place where the production seems to be increasing, whereas in the other origins, it is a secularly flat trend. Yeah. The advantage of Ghana is a cross-border flow. In addition to its own production of 227,000 tons, it has its advantage that the commodity supply chain cost in Ghana is very low. There are no export taxes. Transit is relatively cheaper. So we have a lot of cross-border flow flowing in from Ivory Coast and Burkina. And our estimate of the cross-border flows is around 175,000 tons. However, lack of physical infrastructure tends to sort of complicate the logistics out of Ghana. Interesting jack in the box this year is going to be Benin. The installed processing capacity in Benin is expected to be around 110 to 120,000 tons. Even if we assume 100% capacity utilization, we really are waiting to see what the policy will be with respect to the production surplus, whether the ban on export is going to be fully implemented and fully instituted, and if yes, then what happens to that production surplus? Will it still flow via a later decision by the government to allow for exports, or will the flow go to Togo? That remains to be seen. That is a question mark. We do not exactly know what is going to happen. It's a wait and watch situation. Let's see. I mean, a little bit of uncertainty is what we all look forward to. So hopefully more clarity will emerge in the coming days. We also know that if there is a cross-border flow in Benin, it also represents a significant loss of revenue for the government in terms of export taxes on RCN. So again, it's a jack in the box. We have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, Togo, again, sweet port, nice, convenient, easy logistics, easy to deal with, so stands to gain from the cross-border flows. Production is more or less stagnant in Togo, but in case other countries institute a large transaction cost in terms of heavy taxes or bans, then Togo tends to generally benefit. We have seen that Togo in the past years leading up to 2011 was the primary beneficiary of cocoa flows that went from Ivory Coast across to Lomé. So it's a port that tends to benefit from supply chain distortions, but we need to see how it plays out this year. So that's what I needed to discuss or present in terms of Ghana, Benin and Togo. But I would like to share this. We also have an estimate on what the global production and flows have been. And currently, we have seen that in the past 2 years, there was a certain trend which created sort of a difficult environment for all of us. That would probably be explained that for the past 2 years, the inventory overhang has been nearly 500,000 tons. And what we have seen in 2023, in the year that has gone by, is that there has been a significant drawdown on those stocks. And hence, leading into the current season, I would say that we are balanced in terms of stock, and probably the excess inventory encouraged by low prices, higher exports from Vietnam, good consumption in India, again encouraged by higher prices, has probably sort of consumed the inventory overhang. So if going into this season, we should be looking at an evenly balanced scenario. This is another way we could look at it, that the inventory drawdown is actually negative, which it can't be. So every year we have sort of been consuming 300,000 tons of that opening inventory, which sort of puts us in a balanced situation. Observation for the seasons, yeah. Each one of us is a bear or a bull, and we have reasons to celebrate both the camps. Eventually the season will decide who is right, or both could be right at different points in time. Post-harvest remains a challenge which can affect quality. This we have seen that in Vietnam we've had excessive quality discounts, whether it is due to the change in the practices followed by the destination market, or is it post-harvest treatment of the product. That remains to be seen. Kernel freight, due to the Red Sea crisis from Vietnam, has escalated, so that can act as a dampener on prices or can affect liquidity in the short term. We still are living in a high interest rate, high inflation environment. If Trump gets elected, inflation is here to stay. So US elections for the global economy can be an indicator which can impinge on demand. And yes, Vietnam quality discounts, this is something which we can discuss, is something that can keep a pressure on RCN pricing. We feel that inventory levels are low, as we feel low prices can encourage consumption. Vietnam export is on trend. There is significant growth in Africa processing, which reduces the amount of exportable surplus which is then available for India and Vietnam. So that can impact pricing in a positive way. And we foresee a slight late start to the season. Managing counterparty risk remains a major risk in this industry. We should talk about it openly. It is something that each of us learns to manage, and that is something which we should try and organize and collaborate to sort of get ourselves on the right side of the game. Growth in production should allow for all participants to maintain market share without necessarily participating in the race to the bottom or top. So as I mentioned, inventories are pretty balanced. So it is something that we could, all of us could work together to, approach the market in a balanced way. So this is what I needed to share, and always ready and welcome for further questions. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. So we have some of our colleagues speak about the growing of raw cashew nut and export of raw cashew nut. Now I'll be talking about Vietnam import raw cashew nut. Okay, so you see how we think and how we process cashew and how we sell our cashew. But one thing Mr. Suraj Rao just said that, how can cooperate with Vietnam and keep the price of kernel so not falling. So this is not an easy question. As you know that in Vietnam, we don't have financing strength to hold the cashew kernel. When market is falling, we don't have financial strength to hold the cashew kernel. And also in Vietnam, we don't have suitable warehouse to keep the kernel. Most of our factories are small, so we don't have like a cool storage, air-conditioned storage to keep the kernel. So everyone in Vietnam, after processing, we can keep maybe 1 or 2 months. Then we have to sell. We cannot. So if we're under pressure to sell, then we have to offer at lower price. This is the problem in Vietnam. So let me begin with about Vietnam import raw cashew nut. So Vietnam always import most of the raw seed in the world. It is very clear. Processing capacity of Vietnam is very high because Vietnam is very mechanized factories. Most of the factories, we use a lot of machines. And because we try to make profit, so everyone, invest for more mechanized machine to reduce production costs. Total crop in Vietnam is very small, just around 350,000 tons per year. And it looks that every year, the crop same or reduced. Recently, that before Vietnam cut down cashew to grow rubber trees, but rubber now the earning is very poor. But this year, the durian price very good. So that's why many family farmers, they cut down cashew trees and they grow durian. And they export to China and make very good profit if they grow durian instead of cashew. Also, another thing is our government policy make it easy to import raw cashew nut and re-export kernel. With the import duty is 0 and export kernel also 0. So everything 0. So it's very easy country. The government make it very easy to import raw cashew nut and re-export kernel. In 2023, Vietnam import hit record, import raw seed. In 2022, Vietnam import more than 2 million tons of raw seed. But in 2023, Vietnam import nearly 3 million tons of raw seed. You see, in 2023, Vietnam hit record. In 2021, there's a data that Vietnam import about 1.2 million tons from Cambodia, but that's not true. That data is not correct. So every year Vietnam import from Cambodia is about 600,000 tons. That's correct, but 1.2 million tons is not correct. So this data is correct. Vietnam last year we import about 873 tons. But so import quantity increased 39%. Import increased 39%. This is the main reason the kernel price dropped too much because of too much supply. By end of the year, when we get the data, I'm really shocked. I'm really shocked about the 39% increase. Because you know, every year consumption increase maybe about 5 to 10%. Now increase 39%. Plus the Ivory Coast also possess 250, 300,000 tons. So now when we offer cashew kernel to the world, they said, oh, you know, Vietnam price is high. I buy from Ivory Coast cheaper and quality better. So imagine that Vietnam import a lot more, but Ivory Coast also process much more. So this put a lot of pressure to the consumer to sell the kernel. A lot of pressure. So this data, honestly, I'm really shocked, you know. If 39% increase in the import of rapeseed, then how can we keep the kernel price stable? How? You know, very difficult. So the value of the rapeseed is only 16.5 increase compared to 2022, means that price is getting cheaper. So quantity increased 39%, but value only like a 16% increase. Export raw cashew nut by country to Vietnam into the, so you see, this is export country to Vietnam. So number one is always Ivory Coast. Although now Ivory Coast possess more and more in their country, but they still export more to Vietnam. So the actual data of Ivory Coast export to Vietnam is 960,000 tons. We import from Ivory Coast this year. So the second is Cambodia. Cambodia, we import like 620,000 tons this year to Vietnam. But the feature of Cambodia rapeseed is a bit different with African rapeseed. You know, Cambodia rapeseed, we import a lot of super big nut, like 120, 125, or even 110. This is after drying. So we have the jumbo cashew mainly come from Cambodia. Now, Cambodia has a lot of very big raw cashew nut. So the third is Nigeria. Nigeria, now we import about nearly 300,000 tons to Vietnam. So the rest is other country, as you can see on the chart. So quality of rapeseed imported in 2023. So in general, everything seems to be all right. Not much quality problem. Only from Ivory Coast, there are complaints that many lots we import from Ivory Coast, the nut count is small. So it raised the question in Vietnam that now, you know, and later, a bit careful buying from Ivory Coast, because in Vietnam we have rumor that because of Ivory Coast possess themselves, but they cannot possess small nut. So Ivory Coast calibrate the cashew before processing. And then the big size, they keep and process themselves in Ivory Coast. The small size, they export to Vietnam. That's the reason, you know, normally we import from Ivory Coast, we don't have any problem. But this year, many of my friends complain that, you know, I also import small nut, but we know, because this seller, we inspect in Ivory Coast. And the nut count small, because they also, you know, take out the big nut. But so we pay fair price for small nut. But other buyer, because they don't have people, they want an inspector like my company, so they just buy in the paper contract. So when they receive, they, you know, they complain. So it raised the rumor in Vietnam now. You know, this is I think the first year that, you know, there's a lot of rumor about this. And also some buyers in Vietnam made deposit money but could not receive shipment. You know, some of Vietnamese buyer deposit. So, you know, just before coming here, I have to involve in, you know, like trying to cool down, you know, the buyer and the, you know, because they are very angry, they upset. They very angry that they make deposit but they cannot receive shipment. So there's also another problem that one of my friends go to Vietnam, you know, and then when I was in USA, and that he said, oh, sorry, you know, we cannot meet. And later when I come back from USA, he's still in Vietnam. Why? Because his passport has been held by a Vietnamese. Because, you know, he has been held the passport, you know, by a Vietnamese. So then I can meet him because no pay money, no releasing passport. So be careful. No, they do it illegal. I said, you know, that's not the right way to do it. But, you know, they want me to interfere, to try. I said, no, it's not my business. It's not my business. So purpose of Vietnam import regulation in 2024. Vietnam can absorb any quantity of raw seed from Africa, from Cambodia, from any country in Africa, because our processing capacity is very high with all the machine. With all the machine, you know, our processing capacity. If you export this year another 1 million tons to Vietnam, okay, we still can absorb, no problem. No problem. Because our processing capacity is very good. But from time to time, most factories cannot afford to pay high price of raw seed. From time to time, I'm too sorry to say. Why? Let me explain to you. So why in 2024 Vietnam cannot pay high price for raw seed, except few factories can afford, except few. So many Vietnamese people, when they got money, they bought land, and now they're getting stuck. You know, stuck, no money, because last few years, you know, land business is much better than cashew. I know you buy land, next month you talk 5%, you know, next 3 months you talk about 10%, you know, but 10% is only counting in paper, counting in paper. So everyone, many people, you know, invest too much, and Bình Phước is the hottest province of the land increase price. You know, we make calculation in Vietnam. Then Bình Phước, you know, where I'm the chairman of the Cashew Association, and where maybe 75% of the cashew processed in Bình Phước province, the hottest area for land. So many people buy land. Now they get stuck, no cash. Now, even you offer low price of the land, no one buy. No one buy. Even you offer half of the price, people don't buy. So in 2022, 70 to 80% factory working under profit. How much in 23? Can you guess? How much in 23? You know, cashew factory in Vietnam, you know, working under profit. How many percent? Can you guess? Huh? 100%? Nearly correct. About 98% of the factory working under profit. 98%. Because I'm the chairman of Bình Phước Association, so I have a lot of connection with all the factory. You know, some people, when they talk to me during the end of the year, they cry. But the man not cry, the woman, when they talk to me, they cry. You know, cry on the phone. You know, they cry. 98% factory working under profit. Why only 2%, there's 2%, you know, making money because some small factory, they don't import raw seed. They buy on the spot. This week they buy 100. Next week they buy 100. Next week they buy 100. You know, then only this kind of processor factory, they earn a little bit of more money. But everyone like us import the raw seed, put in a warehouse. Everyone losing money. You know, bank interest in Vietnam is very high. Another reason that, you know, this year we cannot pay high price. Because, you know, everyone knows that in Africa you have a big fan. You know, this big fan, whenever market down, this company will go, wait, 100,000 tons. He bought 100,000 tons. He put in the warehouse. And still now, after 2 years, 3 years, he still have cashew, raw cashew, not 3 years, 2 years in Vietnam. So you are losing, Africa losing this big fan. Because last year, they also become very weak. Last year, you know, become very weak. So, because of this, you see, I'm telling you, this is a very true story. Because Long Sơn is big importer of raw cashewnut. Every year we, like this year, last year we import like 100,000 tons of raw cashewnut. But when this big fan of Africa coming in, you know, when the crop come, people don't send me message. People, you know, the seller, African seller, don't call me, Mr. Sơn, how are you? How's your family? You know, how? They just ignore me. Just ignore me. You know, I don't hear the phone call. You know, you know, when the crop comes, people always, Mr. Sơn, how are you? How are your family? How are you? No. Because this company, you know, so important for them, buy too much. You know, they buy too much, so people don't say hello to me, people don't, you know, contacting me. But last year, they say hello to me again. And this year, for sure, they say hello to me again. You see, for sure. Because this company is likely gone. They're still doing, but very weak, very, very weak. So banks in Vietnam also hesitate to finance cashew company in this year because many banks have problem with cashew company. Many banks having problem with cashew company. Some factory on sale under the bank, they offer sell in Vietnam. So financially, most factories are getting weaker. In Vietnam, most factories are getting weaker. Why few factories can pay high price for raw seed? Why? You know, like last year, some people pay very high price. Why they can pay? So the words need to be corrected. They contract at high price, but they do not pay high. Clear? Huh? They contract at a high price, but they do not pay high. So we call them, they are very clever buyer. Using good tactics, they are very clever buyer. When the market's down, they will not take cargo and request seller to reduce price to market level or below market level, or to request 10% refund. They request 10% refund. If seller refuses to reduce price and refuse refund 10% deposit, what will happen? You thought that you can already hold 10%, so you request market down refund. No. What will happen? See how they are clever buyer. So when cargo land in Vietnam, seller have to declare custom office the name of the buyer, so consignee. Later, seller cannot change manifest to new buyer, or very difficult to change manifest to new buyer. Very difficult to change. This first problem. So the second problem is that the buyer will declare and register, so they fill a file on the computer because the cargo is under their name, correct? Yeah, so they fill a file in the custom office of Vietnam that the cargo belongs to them. And they're going to clear cargo and take it because it's under their name. So this is legal because when the cargo is imported to Vietnam, you have to declare their name. So they have the right to fill the file like this. But buyer do not have document because they don't pay to take the document. So they don't have the document, so they cannot clear cargo. But their registration is still there in the computer system of customs office. Means that seller cannot sell to new buyer unless the old buyer cancel their registration. So we have two problems. One is that chain manifest. Second is that you have to cancel this one. Last year, many people having these two problems. So they want to sell with the original document, they want to give to another new buyer. But the old buyer don't cancel the registration, so cannot do anything. So the situation dragging on. No one do anything. Buyer cannot do anything. Seller cannot do anything. But seller is suffering more because every day you have to pay like 5,000, 10,000 tons as US dollar damage at the port. But buyer don't have to pay, but seller has to pay. So 99% seller have no choice to accept reduction of the price and accept to pay damage so that they can take the cargo. So we have no choice. You have not only one problem, two problems, manifest and custom registration. Means that buyer contracted high price, but actual payment not high. Actual payment not high. So in 2023, many sellers had problem when selling to clever buyer in Vietnam. So sellers have to pay huge damage at port and also pay for bonded warehouse. I think there's a huge amount of money has been wasted last year. Wasted. So clever buyer buy fair volume at high price. So sometimes it leads to the thinking, the seller, oh, this is not small volume, some volume are traded at this level. So it leads to a thinking from the seller, oh, this is market price. And then the seller begin to buy from the farmer at high price because he thought, oh, market price in Vietnam is like this. So let's pay farmer in Ivory Coast, let's pay farmer in Nigeria, let's pay farmer in Ghana at this level. So this is wrong. This is not true. That is not market price. You will see when it's market price, when you see a reputed buyer in Vietnam, they buy volume, then you think, okay, it is maybe not 100% market price, but that price seems to be more realistic. But if you just don't differentiate, who's a real buyer, who's maybe, joker, then you sold to them high price and thought that market price is not true, not true. Then people end up losing money, even seller, when you misunderstand the market, you pay high price and you are also losing money. So another question, people say, why Vietnam import rapeseed 39% up, but sale of kernel not increase the same? Because kernel sales only increase 24%. Why rapeseed import increased 39%? Why? Because end of the year, there are still kernel stock in Vietnam unsold. You see, in January, if you buy W320, W450, and split and LP, plenty. And price keep coming down. Even in January, plenty. December, plenty. January, plenty. Except only W240. W240, the demand is good. The other grade, still plenty. So why we are, export less? Because of still stock in Vietnam, unsold. So the second is that most of our data is for raw kernel. Roasted kernel and kernel with skin have a different HS code, not including in the data of export. So I don't know if you understand this. The data we collect mainly the raw kernel, but the roasted kernel and the kernel with skin is different. So we not collected in the data of export. Like my company and Olam, we roasted a lot of cashew to export a lot of roasted cashew, but still not collected. So that means that the real data is that the total export of Vietnam is more than the data. It's more than the data. Prediction. So last year, 2023, during Vietnam conference in February, I made a prediction that raw seed price will be down. Now, some people also asked me during my question during Vinacast that what's my prediction on the cashew price. And at that time, everyone, the level is like a 260. And I make the prediction of the cashew kernel drop to 235. Then I was right. And today, you see, some people in Vietnam already sold. WCC is at 230. Already sold. So the price, This year I make the same prediction. Raw seed price has to be down, no choice. Because kernel, if people selling kernel, I offer, Longson brand, we offer to USA buyer, WCC at 240, but they don't take. I offered them 240, at 240. They said, Mr. Sun, your price high, we bought at 235, 232, and today they said 230. So my offer, 240, they don't accept. So up to now, we bought nothing from West Africa. Most reputed company in Vietnam also bought nothing from Africa. Because we consider the current offer price high. Now you're offering like a Ghana about like a 1100, 1050, like that. We don't buy. Clever buyer, how much they buy volume? I don't know. Go ahead and sell to clever buyer. They pay high price. So that's some of information from Vietnam on the buyer side. So you can understand how we do business. Thank you very much for the attention. Thank you. The next speaker is Mr. Alex.
Bonjour à tous. Je suis M. Ngetia Assouman, le président de l'AEC, l'Association des exportateurs de noix de cajou de Côte d'Ivoire. Avant tout propos, je voudrais saluer les organisateurs de cette conférence, saluer toute l'équipe qui nous a permis d'être là aujourd'hui. Particulièrement saluer mon cher papa, celui qui se bat pour cette filière en ACAD en Côte d'Ivoire, le directeur général du Conseil du coton et de l'ANACAD, le Dr Adama Koulibaly. Je vous demande des ovations. Le représentant du pays frère et ami, le Vietnam, a été très long. Je pense que je ferai en sorte d'être bref. D'abord, je voudrais dire que notre filière, la filière ANACAD en Côte d'Ivoire, est très organisée. Elle est composée de 4 collèges. Le collège des producteurs qui représente près de 400 000 producteurs, tous identifiés. Le collège des acheteurs, près de 1500 acheteurs agréés chaque année par le Conseil du coton et de l'ANACAD. Le collège des exportateurs, près de 140 000 entreprises agréées par le Conseil du coton et de l'ANACAD, dont certains membres sont dans cette salle. Ensuite, le dernier collège, celui des unités de transformation et des sociétés et des unités de transformation, plus de 40 unités de transformation, tous aussi agréées. Et cette régulation, comme je l'ai dit, est faite par le docteur Adama Koulibaly, directeur général du Conseil. Tout à l'heure, l'intervenant du Vietnam a donné certains chiffres. Je voudrais quand même dire que la Côte d'Ivoire, c'est plus de 1 228 000 tonnes pour la campagne 2023 et a exporté plus de 860 000 tonnes avec 756 000 tonnes pour le Vietnam, environ 160 000 tonnes pour, j'allais dire, pour l'Inde. C'est vrai qu'on a fait, le Vietnam a fait un bond de 66% de ses exportations par rapport à 2022 où ils étaient à près de, j'allais dire, 450 000 tonnes. Le problème majeur de notre corporation, c'est la qualité. Aujourd'hui, la qualité est vraiment au centre de tous les débats. Elle est souvent manipulée par les acheteurs finaux quand le prix ne les arrange pas. Et pour nous, nous pensons que ça décrédibilise les structures d'analyse à destination telles que, je me permets de les citer, Vina Control pour le Vietnam et RBS pour l'Inde. Nous constatons aussi des problèmes au niveau du non-respect des contrats, surtout, comme je l'ai dit, chez les acheteurs finaux. Ils ne respectent plus les contrats. Par moment, ils nous imposent des discounts de 100 à 200 $. Et tout cela pour tirer le prix vers le bas. Nous avons un autre problème que nous constatons, qui est l'utilisation de nos ressources, surtout au Vietnam, l'utilisation de nos ressources comme leur capital. Et cela crée beaucoup de problèmes, le manque de confiance entre les banques qui nous financent, parce que, in fine, nous sommes obligés de payer de grosses charges bancaires. Nous constatons aussi, avec toutes les crises que nous rencontrons dans le monde, le taux de fret qui ne fait qu'augmenter, et pour certains, il passerait du simple au double. Un autre véritable problème, c'est qu'aujourd'hui, les acheteurs finaux refusent de payer à la remise documentaire. Et ils attendent que les différents navires arrivent soit dans leurs eaux ou bien qu'ils aient la notice d'arrivée pour faire les paiements. Et ça crée un problème de rotation et de grosses dettes au niveau des structures exportatrices chez nous. Je voulais aussi signifier qu'au niveau de la transformation, nous avons transformé pour l'année 2023 plus de 260 000 tonnes et cela a été possible grâce à l'instauration d'une fenêtre de 2 semaines pour les transformateurs ivoiriens. Ensuite, la mise en place du stock d'amorçage et grâce au conseiller coton en ACAD, la mise en place des zones dédiées à la transformation. Aussi, les mesures incitatives pour la transformation qui nous ont permis de voir dans notre corporation des sociétés exportatrices devenues des transformateurs tels que AFCOT, Quintimex, Dorado, Copares, Valency et bientôt le GEPA Industrie. Donc, l'ANACAD se positionne comme le deuxième pays producteur et exportateur, le deuxième produit d'exportation en Côte d'Ivoire et représente pour nous 9% du produit intérieur brut dans l'économie ivoirienne. Je voulais dire aux acheteurs finaux, partenaires financiers et experts que j'espère que cette conférence, cette 10e conférence nous permettra de jeter les bases d'un commerce équitable qui profite à chaque maillon de la chaîne de valeur de la filière ANACAD. Pour finir, je voudrais vous inviter en Côte d'Ivoire du 14 au 16 février à notre événement, les Journées nationales des exportateurs de cajou de Côte d'Ivoire, qui a pour thème durabilité de la filière ANACAD, gage de compétitivité et de croissance de l'économie ivoirienne. Venez découvrir les potentialités du cajou ivoirien et les avantages à investir dans ce secteur. Je vous remercie.
La présentation n'est pas là. Bonjour tout le monde. Ok, merci. Je suis Ibrahim SANFO du Burkina, le président du comité interprofessionnel de l'ANACAD du Burkina. Je suis accompagné aujourd'hui par une délégation du Burkina, à sa tête le directeur général du conseil burkinabé de l'ANACAD, que je vous demande d'ovationner. Monsieur Traoré, merci. Il nous est demandé de parler de l'ANACAD du Burkina. Comme présentation, nous allons parler un peu du Burkina, faire le bilan de la campagne 2023, les perspectives pour la production 2024. Nous allons aussi citer quelques mesures gouvernementales et parler un peu de l'environnement commercial. Aussi donner quelques attentes des acheteurs que nous rencontrons jour et nuit. Il faut dire que le Burkina Faso est un pays enclavé qui est situé au cœur de l'Afrique de l'Ouest et est entouré par le Mali, le Niger, le Bénin, le Togo, Ghana et la Côte d'Ivoire. Au Burkina, nous avons la production de l'ANACAD est concentrée dans 4 zones de production, les cascades, les hauts bassins, le sud-ouest et le centre-ouest. Mais nous avons 4 autres zones qui ont commencé il n'y a pas très longtemps et qui n'ont pas trop de volume pour le moment. Il faut dire que en 2023, nous avons estimé notre production à 220 000 tonnes avec une qualité moyenne de 46. En termes d'exportation, c'est plus de 170 000 tonnes qui ont été exportées. Les prix bord champ ont oscillé entre 300 et 540 tout au long de la campagne. En termes de transformation locale, nous avons transformé 50 000 tonnes de noix brutes. Maintenant, pour parler des perspectives de la production pour 2024, il faut dire que pour des raisons climatiques, nous assistons à une floraison tardive. Voilà. Et si ça continue, nous craignons fort qu'il y aurait une légère baisse en termes de quantité de production. Comme mesure gouvernementale au Burkina, il faut dire que depuis 2017, pour exporter de l'ANACAD à partir du Burkina, il te faut l'autorisation spéciale d'exportation. Il faut payer un prélèvement qui est passé de 35 à 25 francs maintenant par kilo. Et en 2024, depuis 2017, nous avons commencé à donner le prix minimum garanti à l'orée de chaque campagne. Et nous prévoyons mettre en place aussi une autre contribution. Et là, c'est les acteurs directs qui doivent contribuer. Et, il y a aussi la finalisation de l'opérationnalisation de la cellule de veille. Et je crois que mon ami qui a présenté pour le Togo, Ghana, a parlé d'assez de fuites qui quittent le Burkina vers ces zones-là. Donc, c'est une perte pour nous. Donc, nous voulons un peu renforcer le contrôle sur le marché pour pouvoir avoir notre propre label à nous. Donc, nous allons poursuivre aussi des opérations de vérification et d'étalonnage des instruments de paysage, ce qui est important pour tout acheteur. Et pour des questions de données statistiques fiables, nous allons continuer avec notre étude qui est la cartographie des vergers, qui permettra pour nous d'avoir des données fiables pour la production du Burkina. Donc, je le disais, pour des raisons climatiques, il y a la floraison tardive et on estime que la quantité qui était de 220 000 tonnes en 2023, s'il n'y a pas de changement, ça risque de diminuer à 200 000 pour une qualité moyenne de 46. Mais il faut dire pour le moment, les premières noix qui sont sur le marché peuvent atteindre du Kawaii 48-49. En termes de prévision pour la transformation, c'est toujours les 50 000 tonnes et prévision pour l'exportation, les 150 000 tonnes. Les charges liées à l'exportation, il n'y aura pas de changement majeur. Les coûts seront vraiment stables. Notre ami et assez de panélistes ont parlé des questions de financement de la chaîne de valeur, c'est pareil. Il faut mettre les institutions de financement en confiance pour qu'ils puissent continuer à financer les acteurs de la chaîne de valeur. Je le disais, nous allons continuer à intensifier des actions de contrôle, de respect des prix et de conditions d'exportation. Pourquoi nous faisons tout ça? Parce que le prix minimum qu'on a l'habitude de donner, il y a beaucoup d'acheteurs qui ne respectent pas. Donc, quelles sont les actions que nous menons en tant qu'acteurs de la chaîne de valeur? Nous continuons la sensibilisation et le renforcement des capacités des producteurs sur les bonnes pratiques pré- et post-récolte. Tout ça pour améliorer la qualité. Et nous avons un projet de mise à niveau des unités de transformation pour l'accroissement du taux de transformation locale. Nous menons aussi des actions pour la promotion de la consommation locale des produits. En tant que pays producteur, il faut aussi promouvoir la consommation sur le plan local. Nous allons aussi contrôler et sensibiliser, contrôler et sensibilisation pour l'utilisation d'instruments de mesure adéquats. Pour ceux qui sont au Burkina, qui opèrent au Burkina, ils savent que dans les zones de production, nous avons plusieurs instruments de mesure. Il y a les boîtes, il y a les Yoruba, il y a les bascules. Donc, nous sommes en train de travailler pour uniformiser et nous allons continuer à sensibiliser sur les bonnes pratiques de stockage et le respect de la réglementation commerciale. Quelles sont les attentes que les acheteurs ont vis-à-vis de nous, les acteurs? Il faut dire que les acheteurs ont toujours demandé des noix de qualité très supérieures à 46. Ils veulent toujours que les prix soient stables pour pouvoir faire les affaires et ils veulent avoir des données statistiques récentes et fiables pour pouvoir faire des différentes transactions et nous sommes en train de travailler pour rendre toutes ces informations sur le marché à l'attention des acheteurs. Donc, je vous remercie, mais je vous invite en même temps au Burkina Faso, le 17 février à côté pour le lancement de la campagne. Et chaque année, nous avons l'habitude de donner le prix minimum lors de ces cérémonies. Ça sera le 17 février à Bobo-Dioulasso. Et vous êtes aussi invité au Burkina en septembre pour la conférence annuelle de l'Alliance des Cashew africaine. Je vous remercie.
So thank you very much. Minutes for open questions, so people can ask questions. But my first question I will raise to my friend from Cambodia, because as through this conference, we are hearing that Cambodia try to, help the processing industry to grow. The Cambodia, trying to have factory to process cashew, and the target is maybe about to process 30–40% in the next 3–4 years. So my question to my colleagues is that I've been traveling to Cambodia many times, go deep, talking people, try to find the chance to set up the factory in Cambodia. But many times I return with my decision that no, because here the raw seed from Cambodia export duty is zero, nothing. And import duty of raw seed from Cambodia is also zero, nothing. And the electricity in Cambodia is much higher than in Vietnam. The labor cost is similar, but not as skillful as Vietnamese. And then, mechanical support, everything from Vietnam, machine from Vietnam, support from Vietnam. So it will be very expensive. So with no export duty, no import duty, for me, after my several visits to Cambodia, I make decision that it's better to stay in Vietnam to process cashew, because anyhow the processing capacity is very high. We still have a lot of capacity to process raw cashewnut. So why, with this kind of situation, why should I invest a new factory in Cambodia? This is my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's really touching question. And also the consideration question for the investor from around the world to Cambodia. Recently, since we have a new government, the new government is really encouraging investors to come into Cambodia. We are adopting new investment law that all the investors who invest in Cambodia is free import-export tax. It's like I mentioned earlier. If you apply for QIP, you will get free profit tax for 9 years. Plus, another 6 years, you have to pay like 30%, 50%, or the other percentage. That is an incentive from the government. On the other thing, the European market consider us a big market for the premium product. As you know, Cambodia M23 is cover 70% of the total production in Cambodia, can produce WW160, 180, which is a premium product, which is a big nut. There's nowhere in the world that can produce all of this size of nut. So special, we can looking for the next market, for the premium market for our Cambodia cashewnut. One of the other thing is Cambodian government got a lot of free trade agreement with China, with Europe, with America, or some of the other countries in the region. China market is increasing tremendously, very quickly. So China and Cambodia is a good friend. It's a free trade agreement. If you invest in Cambodia, you can export to China. I think the consumption in China, if we process the whole cashew nut in Cambodia, it's no problem to supply to China. The other thing about all of this, the supporting from the international development partner is also the part that we can push up the exporting cashew nut from Cambodia to the international market without a problem. Thank you.
Thank you much, but I'm sorry to say that I see many European buyers here. If you say, you know, European buyer pay premium, wrong. Wrong. You know, European, last year my company lost a lot of market share in Europe market because after the war with Ukrainian, the European company pay very low price. We lost the market share. The country to pay premium is China, Japan, Korea, not the European. European, you know, some, you know, like you see the Holland company. Oh, they are very clever. They are very good. They buy high quality, low price. You know, so you have to look for China. China pay premium.
I disagree with that. Competition in the world, everyone is the same. If you're looking very deeper to the opportunity, you will find the opportunity. I believe that EU is really supporting with the cashew nut sector all around the world. They will find some way to solve the problem. Cannot let someone dominate the market or low down the price that is affected to the livelihood of the farmer around the world. I want to add a little bit more in terms of, you mentioned about electricity. Cambodia government have very seriously meeting to put down the price of the electricity. From what I study, the price of electricity to process during the night, it's not much different to the price of the electricity in China. Oh, sorry, in Vietnam, sorry. And the other thing now, the Cambodia policy is allow you to use solar in combination with the electricity during the day without a problem. From what I studied, to cut a lot of cost of production when you use solar in combination with the electricity. Thank you.
If any people have some questions, please raise question and ask.
Hi, my question is, can someone help give feedback on Nigeria cashew nuts? We heard about Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast and Burkina, but not Nigeria. Thanks.
What they say? I don't understand.
The raw cashews, can we also get an update on Nigeria sector? Because we heard about all the other countries' production details, etc., but not Nigeria.
Yeah, thanks. The reason for the Nigerian delegate not being here is very well known, so let's not get into that. But Nigeria, initial estimates are definitely 220 plus. The issue would again be the jack-in-the-box, Benin. So last year we've seen some flows do the other way around. Traditionally we had Nigeria flow into Benin. We've all traded Benin border cashews. But now I think we will have some increase in production if cross-border flows is there. But overall, we could expect a crop which is around 220,000 plus. I hope that answers your question, yeah?
Yeah, please know that Vietnam import nearly 300,000 tons from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So the crop should be bigger.
Yeah, so that would probably be last year. Yeah, last year. So last year there is a possibility of some cross-border flows happening. Tola is here. Actually, Tola can answer. Yeah. Yeah. Tola is.
Thank you very much. As regards Nigeria, the quantity is increasing yearly. We have a lot of new plantations that are already germinating. So we expect that the quality will be the quantity will be increasing. The weather also has been quite nice. We've had good Harmattan, not too much of rains. I mean, towards the tail end of the year. So we should have good production this year. So Vietnam should be expecting about the same 300,000 this year. And then very, very decent quality. Beautiful, well-dried cashew, because a lot of sensitization is going on to ensure that the farmers do the right thing right from the farm gate. Quality at the beginning, 50 for sure, and then maybe as you go into the further in the season, 50, 49, 48, 47. But a lot of improvement, a lot of speed has been achieved in Nigeria. Thank you.
Any more questions, please?
Thank you very much for the speaker. And I will have a short question. And my question goes straight to Wu Tyson. I know that you're one of the biggest processing facility in Vietnam. You know already what is the problem in Cambodia. So what will be your specific advice for us if you want to invest in Cambodia? Thank you.
Well, as I mentioned, we have some problem, after I study, we have some problem, if I want to invest in Cambodia, I need to make money. And even in Vietnam now, people don't make money. So what is your incentive about, like 5 years, 10 years, free business tax? It means that free profit tax is no meaning because it's hardly to make money. So the problem is that I cannot buy rapeseed cheap in Cambodia because export duty from Cambodia is 0. So it's better I stay in Vietnam and buy the rapeseed, similar price, not much different price, buy from Cambodia or buy in Vietnam. The second is that, when we invest in, factory, we need industrial park. So the government make it ready. So last time, if I go, I said, Mr. Son, you have to negotiate with the farmer to buy the land. How can I? But in Vietnam, if you wanted to invest, the government will not the government, but there's company who have an industrial park. So how many hectares you want to rent, everything ready. I don't need to talk to the, the farmer. Last time I go, he said, Mr. Son, you have to negotiate. And, one piece of my factory, I will have to talk to at least 7 or 8 farmers. How can I? So this is, very difficult for me to invest in Cambodia. And then the electricity is high, everything mechanic, everything I have to bring from Vietnam, So actually, everything is profit. So if I cannot buy rapeseed from Cambodia cheaper, much cheaper than in Vietnam, then I cannot invest because of so many things. Electricity, worker, land. And that when Vietnam started the industry, before I used to be broker, I export a lot of rapeseed to India. I'm the cashew broker. But then the government set the export duty 12%. Vietnam, rapeseed 12%, and then stop. We cannot, with 12%, Indian, no charge, because the price in domestic, if we process in Vietnam and the price, the Indian have to buy 12% more. So that's why, many factories in Vietnam, set up. And also that time, the government also supported for if you build the factory, the government for cashew, long ago, not now. When I build my factory, the government also support me some money to construct my factory. That's why, Vietnam, after just 4 or 5 years, and we have big industry. So now, we have an industry employing, 100,000 people and earning, nearly $4 billion, dollar to the country. So I explain to you the reason, I make decision, I cannot invest in Cambodia.
Can I add a little bit, please? At the moment, Cambodia is preparing for agro-food industrial park as well as special economic zone for agriculture too. It's like from what he mentioned about exporting raw cashew nut out of Vietnam is a 12% tax, right? 12% tax. Exporting raw cashew nut from Cambodia is free tax. Around the world, it's not just the Vietnam who needs the raw cashew nut. So invest in Cambodia. As a trader, you buy raw cashew nut, and trading to the other country is also benefit from the trader point of view. And the other thing is with the processing. Cambodia, it changed, it reformed a lot of law to invest, to attract the investor. You know, now the company from Japan, as you know, the Japanese company, they study very, very detailed before they start jumping into the market. But now you can see in Cambodia that the Japanese companies start to build the medium-sized factory that can process between 5,000 to 10,000 tons per year, and then increasing according to the strategic plan. China company start to come into Cambodia and building the processing factory to export to China because they know that China's market, they need the big kernel, the big kernel from Cambodia. They love it. And then I met one of the Chinese investors. They said they will name Cambodia Cashewnut. They put the brand name, it's a giant nut. So, and some of the other conditions combined together, it is a reason why investors should come and study more detail before they can put investment in Cambodia. But I truly believe that when you study deeper, you will see the result of why you have to invest in Cambodia to building the processing plant and export it. And please remember, China and Cambodia is a big friend, and the big market in China for cashew nuts and increasing every year now. Thank you.
Merci. Je voudrais réagir pour dire que ce n'est pas un débat entre le Vietnam et le Cambodge. La Côte d'Ivoire est un grand pays transformateur. Ne regardez pas seulement la production. Je voudrais vous dire que nous allons accroître notre volume de transformation pour cette année et pour atteindre plus de 400 000 tonnes pour l'année 2024. C'est très important. Aussi, je voudrais rappeler que le modérateur, dans ce qu'il a dit, pour moi, est en train de amener les producteurs au découragement. Je pense que vous avez besoin de produits de qualité. Nous faisons la qualité et il faudrait que le producteur soit rémunéré à cette taille-là. Il ne peut pas faire la qualité et vous allez proposer des prix très bas. Nous venons de commencer, nous allons commencer une campagne et je pense que il faut faire de bonnes propositions de prix pour que vous ayez de bonnes noix. Parce qu'il faut encourager les producteurs. Et aussi, ça va nous permettre à nos industries de bien se développer, tant en Côte d'Ivoire qu'au Vietnam. Merci.
Ok, merci. À la suite de mon frère de la Côte d'Ivoire, je crois que ce que nous devons retenir, chaque pays producteur a sa particularité. Et pour ça, nous devons vraiment encourager les producteurs si nous voulons avoir toujours une chaîne de valeur durable. Et la particularité du Burkina, aujourd'hui, nous sommes en train de mettre l'accent sur la production biologique. Pour tous ceux qui ont des marchés pour la production biologique, au Burkina, c'est la production biologique. Et nous mettons ça sur le marché et actuellement, il y a beaucoup de demandes par rapport à ça. Voilà, je vous remercie.
You have a question, sir? So, sir, we'll let this be the last question and observation for the session.
Yes, a very good afternoon to all. First of all, I would like to, congratulate all of you for giving such a good session to us. My question is to Mr. Tyson, okay, because he's been more active with all the speeches and all. So, what should be suitable price for raw cashew nut in 2024 compared with the W320 level? You want me to repeat again?
Yes, this question many of my raw seed suppliers have been asking me, raise my question. So my answer to them that now I'm sitting and wait, and when the market of Ivory Coast, 48, normal size, not small size, is $900. Then it is, maybe the right price that we can buy CNF. And the price of Nigeria is also $900, but for 50 pounds out turn. So both $900, one is 48 out turn, but another is 50 out turn. This is the price that we think that we can survive, not making profit. But why I say not making profit? Because if the raw seed increase another 39%. If suppose, end of the year, with cash data show 39% increase, then, even by the price, no one will be making money. I hope that it will be increased compared to last year, maybe 20%. Then maybe we can have a chance, but increase 39%, no chance.
So you mean if it goes to 900, you can make another factory after that?
Yeah, go to 900, 900 you can offer. But hoping that please don't increase to 39% anymore.
Je voudrais rectifier l'intervention du modérateur pour dire que nos producteurs ne livrent pas des produits de petit calibre. Ils n'ont même pas de machines pour calibrer, pour livrer des produits de petit calibre. Je pense que, comme il est dit chaque année chez nous, à l'ouverture de la campagne, ce sont des noix bien séchées et bien triées que nous livrons. Nous avons pu atteindre la qualité moyenne de 48 par les efforts, grâce aux efforts des producteurs. Et je pense que spéculer ici dans cette salle chez un prix de 900, c'est décourager les producteurs à faire de la qualité. Je ne pense pas que le marché déterminera ce prix. Donc j'invite le modérateur à observer le marché. Parce que comme je l'ai dit, nous allons augmenter nous aussi notre capacité de transformation. Et désolé si vous n'aurez pas assez de produits pour transformer. Merci.
Yeah, I would like to add, it's extremely speculative to say a price of $900 or any price in this forum, because many a times it's also about fair price to the producers. It's also about a fair price to the farmer, and from there it has to be built up. If the production supply chain is discouraged by predatory practices by the consuming markets, then at some point in time production is going to stop, and then there will be a shortfall of raw material, and that can reverse the cycle. So it is always better to try as an industry to come together to try and determine a fair price. What that fair price should be, it should cover the costs of living income for the farmer and have enough margin for the entire supply chain participants to make a decent living. So whether $900 is that price, or whether it's $1,000, or whether it's $1,100, is something which we as responsible industry participants should come together and determine. We should not subject anything towards speculation or margin for only one participants in the some participants in the value chain. That should not be the topic of discussion or any or any sort of speculation in this forum. Yeah.
Very, very profoundly summed up, sir. All right, everyone. With this, we conclude this session. And I think if you enjoyed this as much as I did, we need to give them a bigger round of applause, everyone. What an amazing session. And a very big thank you. I must say that our sessions chairperson, Mr. Wu Thai Son, is probably the first session chairperson I've seen with so much swag. So let's give him a round of applause as I invite him to present a memento to each one of our speakers, starting with our first speaker this afternoon, Mr. Soy Kokthean. Let's have the mementos on the stage, please. Reading the profile of our chairperson, and I was thinking what an achievement to have become the largest cashew processor in the world in such a short time as a first-generation entrepreneur. But then when I heard his presentation, I realized that he does it with so much ease, it's amazing. Let's make some noise, everyone. A big thank you to our next speaker, Mr. Alex Assouman. A big thank you to Mr. Suraj Rao. And a big thank you to our final speaker, Mr. SANFO Ibrahim. In order to present the memento to our chairperson, I'd like to invite Ms. Abigail Mukin from CG Trading onto the stage. Please stay on the stage, gentlemen. Let's have a memento as Ms. Abigail joins us on the stage to present a memento to our chairperson, Mr. Wu Thai. Sir, this is for you, and Ms. Abigail is going to present it to you. Yeah, so you first give it to her, and then she gives it to you. Everyone, let's make some noise. Come on. And you know that your lunch break is for an hour. Coming on the other side of this lunch break is one of the most awaited sessions ever for always all of our cashew conventions. Cashew women coming up right after this lunch break. Have a great lunch, everyone.